What's up, guys and gals? BN back, and today I'm super excited about bringing you guys this video because this is definitely going to be a must-watch. And today we're going to be talking about, for Infinity Kingdom, best practices when you're starting out an account. Now, this is really going to be more from a free-to-play perspective, but we're going to be covering about 16 things today, and I will have chapter timestamps out, and you can also look at those at the bottom of the video window if you want to fast forward or go to a specific section that you would like to listen to first. I want to preface as well that we are going to be covering a Lord Talon's development and military tree, but I'm going to save that for last just so we can get to the good nitty gritty first. So let me focus on what are the most important things that you need to be doing in your city for your account to progress and level as fast as possible and to be as efficient as possible. For your castle, right? Let's start here. With your city hall or castle requirements, you want to make sure that you are min-maxing, right? That means that you are focusing on just leveling the prerequisites first so you can keep getting your castle level as high as you can, right? If I want to level up my wall, which is one of the prerequisites, I also have to level up my training grounds, right? But I'm not going to do anything outside of that if I do not have to. Next, we're going to talk about chapters. Chapters are really important because these are just free rewards that you get from completing tasks in your everyday. And they're going to give you a lot of great individual rewards, and these are also going to be some of the bigger factors in for leveling up your Lord talents, or your Lord level, which will give you more Lord talents. Now, in the city, you want to focus on some additional buildings outside of the prerequisites, and this is like the asterisk to the CH prerequisite requirements. You want to focus on your dwellings, your academy, and your coinment. And there's a couple reasons why. In your academy, the first two texts you really want to focus on, really hammering out on the production side of the tree, is that you want to get speedy construction and that you want to work your way towards rapid progress. These are for building and research speed decrease times, to upgrade buildings, and also to research more techs. I also want to talk about veteran on the immortal side, because this is going to increase battle experience of your immortal, right? In my opinion, this is something that you probably should max level as well, and I would strongly recommend focusing on those two techs in production, and then also veteran here on the immortal side of the tree. There are also some other techs, but we're going to keep it really simple and just focus on those three for now, because those are arguably some of the more important ones. Superhuman speed, right? You could probably look at this fourth because it's going to increase marching speed. I'm not Academy level 15 yet, so I obviously can't show you the defense tree. Sadly, this is just my test account. I probably should upgrade that. But again, those are probably the three first ones in order of priority to focus on first. Now let's talk about max AP usage. So to really get the best value out of your AP on what you need to focus on, you always want to have dragon chests going, right? And the way you get dragon chests in order to get more dragon shards to upgrade your dragon is you have to kill gnome bosses on the map. Now, you have 4 different types of gnome bosses for four out of the 5, 6, I think there's a couple other dragons there too as well, but you only can really focus on 4 for the shards that you can get specifically on the map doing PvE tasks. So for this, again, you always want to have, with your Death Stinger, right, you get the water dragon chest. You always want to make sure you have chests going, meaning that you should be attacking 2 to 3, give or take, gnome bosses every day, just to make sure you always have one going, and then whenever you don't, go ahead and just attack gnomes so you can burn out the rest of your AP. The next thing we're going to talk about is arena. So we're going to dive back into the city. Now for arena, you want to try and max out your arena runs daily. And this is because you want to always be trying to focus on getting to your 20-point arena chest, which is going to give you more insignias. You can see each of these will give you some, but the most important reason why is because that'll give you your max insignias there, and then you can use those in your insignia shop to purchase more immortal pieces, which is going to let you hyper focus immortals a little bit more as far as on ones you want to specifically skill up. The other note here, which is kind of just a tip, is you can remove your march if you want to change your formation, right? So you can see these are my lineups. If I want to go into this, let me see here. I can click this, right? I can go into edit units, and I can remove all of these, right? And then my number 1 march would be a lot less. And again, I'm sure people who are like, wow, this guy's marches are really low powered. Yes, I do not focus too much on this account because I'm waiting for the next server to come out. But if you remove those immortals from your marches, it'll lower your march power, which means that your rank will drop in arena. So it'll make it easier for you to farm the 3 victory point ones instead of doing the others. Because remember, you get 5 tickets, right? So if you do 5 times 3, that puts you at 15, right? You are still 2 arena hits away from being able to get to that max 20 chest. So it just gets you there faster and makes the run a little bit easier for you. Now we're going to focus on the next thing that we've talked about before, which is prioritizing one march at a time. And the reason for that is because it's really kind of twofold. When you have one march at a time, which is really what most people are using for their PvE and their PvP, for the majority at the moment, is because in each march you have 4 immortals that you can put in there, right? Meaning that you have to focus on leveling 4 immortals to really make your one single march plus a dragon as effective as possible. What this means is that you can take advantage of things like the market, for example, right? Where you can hyper-focus and really fish specifically for immortal pieces that you want, just to do that all day long by leveling just those 4 immortals, right? Or skilling those 4 immortals up. In addition, you get 5 free refreshes, plus you also get refresh scrolls. Meaning that I could refresh this up to 90 times right now, and I can just do nothing but refresh, look for the immortals I need, grab that, do another one, do the same thing, and rinse and repeat. So I love that the game gives you a lot of free-to-play access, where compared to other games that I've played, some of them are a little bit more kind of pay-to-win focused, but I love the fact that they give you a lot more of these. I love that the game is just more free-to-play friendly in general. You can also, again, take advantage of your Alliance shop if you want to try and fish for more immortal pieces, right? You will have some that will unlock as your Alliance levels up, and you can also utilize that area. Now, outside of that VIP investment, let's talk a little bit there. So VIP investment is somewhat give or take, but there's basically 2 big VIP milestones that you want to try to hit. One is going to be your VIP 6. As you see, I get a shard here, Philosopher's Stone shard, and then you can see that if you work your way up to VIP 10, you will also start getting a Philosopher's Stone, right? So these are the 2 big VIP stages that, in my opinion, you want to try and aim for first. Again, don't get me wrong, as you increase VIP, you'll still get better long-term passive benefits, but these are probably the 2 most important ones right now for getting stones, along with some of the other benefits that it comes from. Again, waiting for max alliance helps. This is always going to be an extremely important thing for people that are playing Kingdom Builders, which means that you want to wait until this, for example, as you can see now, right, says 18. You want to wait to this to get 18 over 18 before you use speed ups. And the cool thing I like about the speed ups in this game is that you can use those, right? If I'm upgrading a building, let me just show you as an example. If I want to upgrade my training grounds, right, which it is, I think it's going right now. Here we go. I can go in here and I can do a one-click speed up, which it'll use all of these speed ups together. In other games I've played, you've had to click the individual speed ups one by one to get to the total amount. I like that they have this super simple, just kind of one-click speed up feature. Next is the Alchemy Lab. Now, the Alchemy Lab is probably one of the more important buildings because you're going to be able to dismantle all of these immortals that you're not going to use, right? So your greens and your blues, obviously, and then any purples you're not using. And I gain purple shards or immortal universal shards from those that I can then use in the market, right? Or I can use these to upgrade talents in my Tower of Knowledge that I can use for secondary talents on any of my immortals once I unlock those extra skills to customize skill sets in my immortals, which is fantastic. So something to definitely make sure that you're taking advantage of, along with the Immortal Reborn, right? You can basically reborn an immortal that you've invested anything into, and you can get resources back. You can also do equipment dismantles, and again, these will also give you the green universals to upgrade your equipment as well, right? So the Alchemy Lab should not be underestimated. It's a fantastic structure to take advantage of. Focusing on gold early, right? I know we made a video about this, but one of the biggest reasons why is because you want to take advantage of your harbor, right? Your harbor is arguably going to be one of the most important things for you just to get free resources from. And there's a lot of resources you can get. One of the most important is really going to be the universal soul crystals that you'll get, in addition to any speed ups or even possible immortal puzzle pieces or immortal soul crystals to upgrade the skills for your immortals, right? And we've talked about things like dwellings, we've talked about coin mint, we've talked about other talents as well that we'll get to later at the end of this video that you can utilize. And so those are just things to consider when it comes to trying to focus a little bit more heavy on gold, because it is one of the probably arguably most valuable resources out of the 5 that you have. The next is going to be gathering RSS. So gathering RSS, again, you want to do this after you've depleted your AP gauge, right, from doing your gnome bosses and your gnomes. Well of Time, you want to try and advance in Well of Time as fast as and really as much as you can. And the best way to really do that is to focus on one march at a time. Invest your resources into one march and use the rest of your marches for resource gathering, or until your first march or your top march starts plateauing and you know it's going to start taking longer time. Then at that point you could start looking at investing into a second march. But you also need Well of Time if you want to complete chapters, so it's also really important. Then we have Mysterium, which is one of the newest features that just came out on the 10th of December with the new 0.14 update. This is something that, again, just a free opportunity to get additional resources that you're going to be able to take advantage of here, and really, again, is still going to be focused on that single march, right? So a lot of benefits on really investing into one march at a time here from all the resources you can get from doing this. There's up to 3 floors, a lot of just free resources you can get there. The last thing we're going to talk about is paying attention to calendar and the sign-in, which is your daily sign-in, right? So you want to click these for dailies. They'll accumulate over time, and then you'll get these 3 monthly tiered interval bonuses that you'll get as well for additionals. But the daily sign-in really cannot be undervalued. It's just great free resources to get. The last thing is pay attention to the calendar, right? It resets every Sunday, and you want to look at what challenges are coming up. So in case you need to do any kind of pre-day or pre-week prep on your account, you can. Especially if you're trying to focus on getting your alliance together, if there's alliance events that come up, or if you can get members together that might be able to help you in some of the events. Again, things to keep in mind. So with that being said now, I'm going to do a quick, fast run-through on talents. And this is going to be super fast, but I'm trying to keep the video as short as I can. So with development, we want to go massive construction for construction speed. The next row, we want to go experience. This is going to double the bonus that you'll get from attacking gnomes. Next one, we're going to go as plentiful gold in the third row. This is going to increase gold production by 10%. Then we're going to go with, for my fourth row here, is either going to be Divine Walker or it's going to be Pleasant Surprise. In my opinion, I think Pleasant Surprise probably is going to win out here, but again, take them both out. That's just my recommendation. Leaps and Bounds, Academy Tech upgrade speed, seems like a no-brainer to me. Then we have Safe and Sound. None of your troops will die when fighting against gnomes. I imagine this is going to come into a little bit higher levels. That's my recommendation there. Then we have Recruit Talents, which is for increased talent speed, and Skillful in Medicine, which reduces cost for healing seriously wounded. I will take Skillful Medicine here as my recommendation because I feel there's better long-term value if you're fighting or having any wars. Then we have the next row here, which is either going to be Economics Expert or Otherworldly Helper. I still think I would take Otherworldly Helper here in my recommendation over Economics Expert, just for better overall value. But you might find that if you're ever suffering for gold, you can take Econ Expert. Next one here for the next row is going to be Sheltered. It's going to increase the warehouse protection compared to just increasing the storehouse, the storage capacity, because the higher protection you have if you're in a war will allow for you to heal more troops and then train more troops as well and just have more resources to work with. The very last one here is going to be Glorious Return. Receive double rewards when you defeat a gnome unit. This, to me, is almost a no-brainer. The only other one you could consider is Seize the Day for Purifying Dragon, but I still think you get better return off Glorious Return. Let's go into the military tree. You're either going to go with Clutch Shot or you're going to go with Flying Shadow, crit, or dodge. Personally, I think I'd rather go with dodge, mainly because if the crit isn't hitting for double the attack, then when you dodge, you're going to dodge for the full amount. And I think there's better value when you're dodging for the full amount compared to the not getting the double amount on the crit value for a normal attack, because the normal attack is going to have the same amount anyways. So personally, I think I would take that. For the second row here, we're going to go with Irresistible Force or Rage. 10% physical attack or magic attack compared to going with the defense for physical and magical. And that's mainly because your composition might have 3-to-1 ratio on immortals that lean more on the physical or the magical attack side. So I think there's just better value by getting the flat 10%. And if you have more physical, I would say Irresistible. If not, go with the other one for magic, which is Rage. In this next one, we're going to go with Reducing Pack Light, which is reducing marching AP consumption. I'm going to save you 5% on that, which is going to be better long-term investment, but you could use Riding Fast as situational because it does increase your marching speed up to 50%. The next one we're going to go with here is going to be First Strike. Before battle causes damage equal to 5% of max HP of one immortal in the enemy's rear guard. This, in my opinion, is going to have better value than it will for defense, which is really just defending in garrisons and siege for when attacking. This is going to apply for when you're attacking cities, structures, and then when you're just doing any PvP related, so it's a little more universal. Next, we have Working Hard. The next one I'm going to go with here, though, is going to be Survival Methods, which reduces troops killed up to 10%. Better value there, in my opinion. Last Stand for the next one, which is sacrifices 10% of your castle's prosperity to increase the damage dealt by 8%. I still feel that there's a little bit better value there than if you go with, for example, rank advancement, which is receive 2 times honor. I could see either, but I personally would rather go with Last Stand in my opinion for just better long-term value. The next one here is going to be Domination, or we're going to go with the other one, which is Frighten. This is reducing immortal skill damage that you take. I still feel that Domination has a little bit better value because reduces physical and magical defense up to 5%, means that every time an attack hits, you're going to be hitting them for that, right? That means for attack and then for skills as well, unless it's specified. This is just specifically for skill damage. So I will say at the base, this is just for normal attacks, but it does seem based on the wording or lack thereof that it could also apply to the skills. And if so, I feel you get better value out of Domination. Next we have Sneak Attack, which is before battle causes damage to a random enemy, immortal, in the rear guard equal to 10% of your max HP. Again, it does cost 20 extra HP, but again, you're going to be able to get the additional value here. This is just for defending, right, where you get 10%, and then the other one here is for when you siege. I still feel you get better value where you're doing the sneak attack because you can use it in more situations than just the situational ones the other two texts give you on this row. Then we look at the second to last row, which is Owl Guardian, right? Increases immortal regen speed up to 5%, or increases an immortal's attack speed by 6%. I don't know if this is passive because the way it's worded when it says an immortal's attack, I take that as 1. But if it is flat for all of them, then that could be as well. It's just the wording isn't really specified too much to, I would say, really clarify that or give you a 100% guarantee. But either way, the value I would say is in determining if attack speed is going to generate you more hits, so you get more regen speed, and if it equals out to higher than 5% in the long run. The only way to really test this out is by doing a couple battles and seeing how far the stamina gauge tick increases per each immortal hit for each individual immortal skill. So I'm not really sure exactly which one I would take here. This is a toss-up. I would probably just try both. The last row here is going to be for Mediation, or Energy Burst, in my opinion. Now, before battle, your immortals in the front line will have full energy. That means that they can immediately hit their 2 skills right away. That, to me, seems pretty good. Versus, if we go to Energy Burst, which is energy regen speed plus 10% when fighting an enemy unit tactics, or negative SP. Now, again, this is just for defending. This is also an attack, right? So Excitation, I think, would be the second choice here. Increases the energy regen speed of 2 of your random immortals by 30%, extra 25 AP it will cost. So you can combine this with Owl Guardian, which means that you could have one of your immortals at 35%, or you could have 2 at 30% energy regen and 1 at 5%. Even though I do think that's good, keep in mind that some battles may not last long enough for you to see the immediate value of the long-term benefit of energy regen increasing. So I would just say it needs to be tested out. I would say immediately, though, I would probably go with Mediation until if we actually see some numbers that show that Excitation has better long-term value in battles. It can also depend on the composition you're running. If you're running more of a long-term comp, you have more healer, more defense, you have maybe some lifesteal worked into there, then yeah, I'm sure some of these are going to be situational. Outside of that, guys, that's going to cover everything that I have right now in all of the areas that are going to be best practices for you to start out in your new account. If you are at all interested in checking out any official IK resources, I'll have those in the description down below, along with personal information for us, along with our Discord server, which we also play IK on. We're also planning to enjoy Server 6 when that comes out. And so I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it helps a lot of new players, and even potentially for anyone who's been playing for a while. So until next time, we'll catch you later. Peace.